Yeah, I wish it were simple, where you could just go to a single source and be well informed. I mean, if you're interested in learning about Israel, you can look at Israeli publications like the Times of Israel or the Jerusalem Post, and they're often pretty good. But even then, they sometimes might have an agenda. Sometimes they lean a little bit in one way or another, maybe anti-government, which is it's common in a democratic country. And even the New York Times, for example, they used to have Barry Weiss, and they still have Bret Stephens, who are very positive about Israel and do very thoughtful, accurate writing. And so you get anywhere you go, you kind of you get all types. But I would even CNN, which oftentimes leans very anti-Israel, their outgoing Israel correspondent, or Oren Lieberman, is Jewish guy married to an Israeli woman who did a reasonably fair job while he was here. Unfortunately, he's leaving us. He's getting a promotion and going to cover the Pentagon, I think. But the the way to really get accurate information is you do what we do. You start by reading the article and you ask yourself, is there something in here that contradicts? For example, if the headline says one thing and the article itself contradicts the headline, because headlines are written by headline editors who are trying to get clickbait. And so sometimes a headline will be some dramatic thing that'll draw eyeballs but isn't really correct. So you see, or you might see the first paragraph of the article is leaning in one way, and then at the end you see something else. Like, for example, the Gaza protests. You'd see people killed at Gaza protests in the headline, and the first couple of paragraphs talk about the protesters, and then in the last paragraph, you learn that these protesters were throwing hand grenades and firing machine guns, which kind of is not exactly the definition of protester that Martin Luther King is associated with. This is hardly raising picket signs on Capitol Hill. The moment you see that contradiction, you know something's wrong and it's time to dig further. Another thing you can do is read multiple different sources and see, are there certain areas where those sources agree and certain areas where they disagree. If there's something that Fox News is saying and CNN is saying the same thing, then chances are that's probably a point that's not really contested. In the areas where they differ, ask yourself, how do they differ? And is there a way that I can check that thing? Is the way that they differ just that they're emphasizing certain things more than other things, or are they actually having different facts? And then you can go and ask yourself, well, where can I check out that fact? If the question is, does killing a nuclear scientist violate international law? Can you figure out which international laws are out there, and can you look them up yourself and take a look? And it's a little bit more work, but it is a way to build an accurate view of what's going on in the world. Now, what can you do when you see a problem? My personal thought is that it all comes down to community. You can go to our website and see if we've written on it, see if we have a call for action out there. We also have a little red alert button on our homepage, and you can click on that and bring news to our attention and say, hey, I read this article that maybe you should check out. And we can't always cover everything, especially if it's local news and there's a lot of national and international news out there, but we do our best to cover as much as we can. At the very least, we provide you with resources, and if there's a call to action, you can join with the community, and hundreds or thousands of people could write emails together.